Well, hello then, I do hope you're all well. Now, during his liaison committee meeting, our feeble Boris Johnson, was absolutely destroyed by Labour MP Chris Bryant about what he knew about our Hansie Tamworths. Chris Pincher, to say it was absolutely brutal was an understatement.
Mr. Bryant.
Thank you, Sir Bernard. Welcome, Prime Minister. Have you been told of any other allegations similar to the conduct of Mr. Pincher about any other ministers in your time as Prime Minister?
I'm going to have to tell you, Chris, that it is all too possible that people have said things to me about any number of people, including possibly people around this horseshoe.
No, have you ever had?
It would be a great labour for me now to sit down and try to reconstruct every single piece of gossip or innuendo.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking about gossip and innuendo. I'm asking precisely about that. You now accept that you were told on 2 occasions about Mr. Pincher's, the allegations against Mr. Pincher that were upheld
by
in the Foreign Office. I'm asking, have you been told about any other such events relating to any other government minister, formally?
Don't that tell you everything you need to know? Incredibly shifty look at them eyes. You can tell straight away. Don't want to answer this question, does he?
Look, I'd have to get back to you. I mean, I would not want to.
It seems extraordinary that you wouldn't know whether there are allegations outstanding against your government ministers of sexual impropriety, such that they might constitute potentially criminal offences apart from anything else.
Look, there's nothing that springs to mind. Okay, but
all right.
I'm gonna but what I will say, Chris, is if you have some information.
No, I'm asking you, Prime Minister. I'm asking you this because it seems incredible to me that you would not remember that you've been told this about somebody who is one of your closest allies in Parliament.
I think I tried to explain exactly the circumstances.
Well, you haven't. But let me ask you a different question, because you've not answered this elsewhere. Did you say all the sex pests are supporting me, or words to that effect?
No, people attribute all sorts of things to me. I don't remember saying those words, but people ascribe all sorts of things to me.
That sounds.
Yeah, that does sound like a yes to me.
Like a yes to me. Okay. Did you say he's a bit handsy?
It's not a word I use, actually.
So that's a definite no.
I would not have used that word, but
it's a definite no, is it?
Look, I'm saying.
Why don't you just say no? If you didn't say it, just say it.
People maybe
take that by the way he's overreacting. I think he did say it.
You hear me say all sorts of things. It's not handsy, as it happens. Is not a word I use. But
all right. Did you say Pincher by name, Pincher by nature?
I'm not going to get into some trivialising.
In other words, yes, he did say it.
Discussion of what I may or may not have said. This is a serious matter.
Yes.
The member is now being I believe has had a complaint made against him, and that is where I propose to leave it.
No, but the point is,
the members had a complaint made against him.
If you just let me for a moment, the point is that the allegation is that you have trivialised this issue. You've not even remembered it. Perhaps because he's a useful ally to you. And the point is that then you appointed somebody who you believed to be a sex pest in a position of power and authority over other people in Parliament.
So that's not right, because under any view, the issue at the Foreign Office was, although it was upheld, it was resolved in a way that was satisfactory.
It was upheld.
It was resolved in a way that was satisfactory to all parties. And there are issues that I can't be confident that it was a sexual. There was sexual implications.
Well, Sir Malcolm, Mr. MacDonald Lord MacDonald, makes it very clear that it was very similar to the allegations of what happened
the trouble is, if I may say so, that I was given on the occasions when it was mentioned to me, I was given very brief, a very sketchy account, and I really think that
Well, if you only got brief and sketchy accounts, wouldn't you investigate it more?
It just seems incredible that you wouldn't think that that was a matter worth investigating or talking. Can I ask you? Was Neil Parish right?
It was investigated, and it was investigated,
and it was
by the Foreign
upheld.
Office.
Was Neil Parish right to resign from Parliament?
Well, I think that the problem he had was that he was.
Was he right to resign?
It was his decision.
Was he right to resign?
I think that he was doing something that is not normal or tolerated in most workplaces.
So should Chris Pincher resign from Parliament?
Well, you ask about.
It's a yes or no question. Get on with it. You know full well he should resign.
My relationship with him, I took the whip away from him.
Should he resign from Parliament?
That's a matter for him.
So you think he should stay?
Well, that's a matter for him. But I took the. He no longer sits as a Conservative
All right.
MP.
Was it right for Sarah Dines to ask the man who was groped in the Carlton Club whether he was gay, and to say that it was problematic that he was?
You're asking me about what other members are alleged to have said. I can't.
No, you're asking, is it right that she should have said it? Not asking to have a running commentary whether you think she said it.
No, there are 5 other, including people in this room, there are 5 other MPs who witnessed it. It's not in any doubt, and I don't think she has denied it. Was it right, or is it not victim shaming?
Let me put it this way. I think that what happened was extremely serious, and as soon as I knew that a complaint had been made, and I talked to a witness, and I removed the whip.
Have you talked to Sarah Dines about it?
I haven't talked to her about that, but I removed the whip immediately.
Do you not understand why this is problematic? Because it means that being gay, for some reason or other, makes you sort of asking for it.
Chris, look, I see why you're putting it like that. I don't know whether I very much doubt that Sarah meant it to be interpreted that way.
You said yesterday about Chris Pincher, if I had my time again, this is a bit of Captain Hindsight, if you don't mind me saying, but if I had my time again, I would think...
You know who he is, yeah.
Yeah, it's you. If I had my time again, I would think back on it and recognise he wasn't going to learn any lessons and he wasn't going to change. But that's true about you, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You're not going to learn any lessons and you're not going to change. You're not capable of changing. We'll be doing this again, time and time again, if you stay in post, won't you?
Well, coming to
Yeah, here we go, the rant now. He's got right under his skin. You can see it coming now. He's absolutely blown up, hasn't he?
committee, I will. And yes, I will. I hope very much to be.
Come on, you know what he's
invited.
asking, Prime Minister. He's not asking that question.
Well, I don't know quite well. I mean,
you know exactly what I'm asking. You don't. This is all about you in the end. The reason these things happen is because of you. He took liberties because he knows that you take liberties and get away with it, and allow other people to get away with taking liberties.
That's what I don't.
Absolutely, as the old saying goes, the fish rots from the head down.
I'm not quite sure what you're driving at there.
I think you know perfectly well what I'm driving at. But you were asked. You said on one of the other broadcasts. You said, if you're saying you want me to undergo some sort of psychological transformation, I think that our listeners would know that that is not going to happen. Isn't that the problem? We need a psychological transformation if you're to stay in office.
With the greatest possible respect, what I think we all need to do.
Here we go, the distraction. Now let's talk about something else.
Is focus on the things that our electorates sent us here to settle for them. And they are how to fix the post-COVID economic shocks, and that's what we're doing. How to make sure that we improve the life chances of every.
That's our Prime Minister, guys. Ain't he the most pathetic, wheezy little snivelling little turd you've ever set eyes on? The man's disgusting. Even I've lost words.
Kid growing up in this country. And I think what Robert said about kids being excluded from school was incredibly important, and I'm going to go away and look at that. These are the issues that matter to the people of this country. And that does not exclude the fascination that people will have with these other subjects, but that is what I am focused on.
No, they also focus on honesty and decency and propriety and standards in public life, and they hate it when people, when they get caught out, just want to turn over the table and abolish all the rules. But let me ask you one very specific final question, which is just about the ministerial code, because it enshrines the existence of the independent advisor on the ministerial interests in the ministerial code. You haven't got one at the moment. I hope you're going to appoint one very soon, and you can tell us who that's going to be. But you authorised an investigation into Mark Spencer's alleged Islamophobia, which I gather Lord Geit had very nearly completed. When will that be completed, and when will it be published?
That's a very good question. I think that
In other words, you don't know.
Lord Geit did give me a brief update on it. I had the impression that it was nearing conclusion. I'll have to get back to you.
And is there going to be a replacement?
Yes, there will be. As soon as we can find one. I think the difficult.
As soon as we can find one. At this rate, he's not going to be able to fill a cabinet, so what makes him think he's going to find someone to fill that role?
You haven't got enough ministers to appoint yet, let alone You've lost 32 now.
I'm sure there will be no shortage of candidates.
See that gulp? That's that stark realisation for me that pretty much the gig is up. And this whole charade is just that, a charade and an act. And it looks like, to me, like trying to put a brave face on it. Sad and pathetic, innit, really?
If I could just explain a bit about the replacement for Lord Geit. I do think there is an issue, and I think that we need to think about it collectively, which is what happens when we appoint these people. I think that they can become very exposed and very vulnerable to abuse, to political pressure, to campaigns, and I'm just giving you my view. They're much more public than they used to be. So Christopher, I think, did an outstanding job, but he was facing a lot of public pressure.
He resigned because he thought you'd lied to him.
That's not what he said. He said that he resigned over the question of whether steel tariffs should be imposed.
I don't think he did.
Resign over steel tariffs. You know perfectly well that's not the truth.
I'm sure you've seen his letter.
That's what I have, yes.
That's what he says. And I think the issue there was whether...
Even in the end, still can't stop lying, you know. It kind of reminds me of certain people who, when they lie, they've lied that many times that they even convince themselves that the lie they're telling is the truth.
Imposing or retaining steel tariffs in the UK
he
resigned,
breach of
WTO.
I'm sorry, Prime Minister. He resigned, as he says in his letter, because he knew that he wanted to initiate an investigation into your breaching of the ministerial code, but he couldn't do so without resigning, and that put him in an impossible position. That's expressly what his letter says.
Sorry, well, then you must have seen another letter, because that's not what...
No, I read it and you didn't.
I'm going to have to disagree with you gently there.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, after that outbreak of mythomania, let's perhaps get down to some facts.
Even till the end, he couldn't help himself, could he? Still spouting outright lies, and even tried distraction bombs to, try and get away from his own shortfalls, and didn't want to really get involved in it, did he? Because I think deep down, he just didn't really care. That's the reason. As far as he was concerned, he's one of his pals, and yeah, and I think Chris Brown was right when he says, all the sex pests follow me. I think that sums him up, These are the sort of people who you attract. He's quite handsy himself, he's our bodge from what I've heard, so he's going to attract them sort of people, isn't he? Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and till the next time, I shall bid you farewell and take care.